Welcome back to Steel Roots Market. Today we are creating the sweetest little Christmas ornament. Something simple, soft, nostalgic, and full of that retro storybook charm that I love this time of year. I'm working with one of my two-piece ornament surfaces. These are in the shop and they're perfect for quick gifts, tags, tree fillers, or little handmade something just to tuck into a package. This project I created as part of the collab for Craftember November playlist, brought to you by our host at Girl Friday Crafts and many more of my crafty friends. Throughout this week, we'll be bringing you new videos each day with 15 to 30 minute holiday crafting ideas. So please make sure you follow along with the playlist. I'll add that link down in the description, and we would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. So as I went through my little ornament stash that I have, I offered these and they are in the shop. Different styles and lots more coming out over the next few days as we prepare for the holidays. I wanted this to be a very simple project, so I just started out with some chalk paint. There's just something really nice about a clean matte surface when you're doing stamping, and I was so excited to use the IOD Christmas Wishes stamp set. But this stamping like this grabs the ink beautifully without bleeding, and it sets the tone for that vintage paper feel. One tip I always try to share is you do not need a fancy technique to begin. Just paint. Dry it fully and let that creativity build step by step. Let the project reveal itself. And that is so much my style, with slow crafting, taking my time, and letting the project just come to life. So I chose that sweet little fawn from that stamp set by the Iron Orchid Designs. I stamped it right with black IOD ink, keeping it simple so the details could shine through. This little image, the bow on the neck and the softness in the eyes, it's instantly giving me the very nostalgic old storybook feel, something that we would have saw when we were children in visiting our grandparents or family members that had a collection of old Christmas books. Something you would find like in the 40s or 50s. It was just sweet. If you're new to stamping on surfaces, remember, don't rock your stamp. Just let it kiss the surface and lift straight up. Don't try and shift. And then you can get those delicate lines. Another tip with using IOD ink, make sure you let it dry completely before you begin any steps. This video is fast forward to go at a fast pace, but I did take lots of breaks in between as I create. Once the image was stamped, this is where the fun and magic starts happening. I just came in and started pulling out my Pentart supplies, my Miss Lillian supplies, and just wanted to add some shimmer and fun to this little piece. I did seal this little top part with a semi-gloss top coat by Pentart, and again I let it dry really well. Once that was completely dry, I'm just showing you a variety of products that you could come in to take this to however style you want. You could come in with glitters, you could come in with your jewels, or anything that you have. My favorite product right now lately, I absolutely love, is the Pentart Chameleon Varnish, and I have it in gold that I'm using today. A tip, if you are using this, shake it really, really well. It has a thicker consistency and the glitter bits are at the bottom. So when I went to go apply this onto my little ornament, I went very thick and heavy and almost stippled it on, because as it dried, I was hoping it would give it like a thick vintage glass look, is what I was going for. And in the sunlight, you can see that soft, iridescent gold shimmer to it. And I just kind of applied it a couple times and let it dry in between, and it really is a neat effect for your projects. I like that uneven, little worn, aged look, like on like a very vintage glass look. And then I just came in and just kept playing. I did put a bit of vintage stain that I've used in some of my other videos, and decided at this point would be to add some the metal pigment, and I did that in gold and used Pigment Fix for that, and those are Pentart products too. But some of these little things that I like to do around the edges of these surfaces is I like to build up layers and layers, because that's part of my style of creating a vintage look, and I like having the ability to have layers and little colors popping through and chipping and making it look like it's an aged piece of art or this little ornament. So I did do that a few times, letting it dry in between and then just building up my layers. Once everything was dry for that, I did go ahead and glue it together, and you could have stepped away and called it completed. Again, I decided to go in with the metal pigment and give it a polished metal look around the edges. So here I'm just mixing a little bit of my Pigment Fix. I decided to do it right there on the mat. And this is the gold color. I love using all these pigment and Pigment Fix together. It really gives a beautiful finished look on these ornaments. And so you're just going to see me go ahead and go all the way around the edge. I do apply a nice heavy amount on the topper to make it look built up, but then just go around the edges and give it a finished look. I do like to drag up the Pigment Fix in the gold to make it look like almost like soldering, or like a vintage piece of jewelry or window decor. The two-piece ornament just gives it a really cute dimension look. And I love just doing a little bit of splatter work on there. And I finished it with a torn piece of velvet ribbon, just tied loosely. I'll get better pictures in the morning. Of course, it's late at night when I'm crafting here, so it's a little dark. But it looks handmade, collected, old world cottage feel. I absolutely adore it. That stamp is just precious. So it's our little vintage swan. I absolutely love how this ornament turned out. Soft, nostalgic, retro, whimsical. It has all the pieces, and it was so simple. If you want to create one of these, I'll link the surface. I'll link right to my shop, Steel Roots Market, and I have Pentart, IOD, decoupage papers, these surfaces I have. So everything is over in there. Always feel free to message me if you have any questions. And if you try this project, please share it with me. I love seeing your creativity come to life. Thank you for spending this creative time with me, and I hope this inspires you to enjoy that process, slow down and create. Make something sweet with what you have. Use your supplies. Until next time, happy creating.